Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football. Can I just say, right? United do have a style of play. I
Do they?
That's 100%. They do have a style of play.
Because I'm clueless, to be honest.
They build in a 3-2, right? They build in a 3-2. Number one, that's a part of your style. They press high. They try and use verticality when out of possession. That is pressing directly. Verticality. It's a vertical tiki-taka. That is what Ten Hag's style of play is, and he's trying to implement that at Manchester United. Is it working to the level it should work? Probably not. But there's a definite style of play and there's definite patterns of play in how Manchester United play. So I don't really buy into the whole there's no style when Manchester United play. Against Spurs at the weekend, there was absolutely no style. It was appalling in every sense of the word. It was the worst performance in his tenure. And we've lost 7-0 to Liverpool. So that will tell you how bad it really, truly was. I even thought the 3-0 defeat to Liverpool 3 weeks ago was nowhere near as bad or on any close level to the way that Spurs game was. It seemed like he abandoned every single principle he's even built up at the club. Spurs tossed us aside.
Yeah.
I can't even use the red card as an excuse. I usually would, but I can't because they would have hockeyed us either way. That game was only going in one direction. And it looked like he abandoned every single thing he's ever believed in at the club. And the approach to the game was abysmal. It was abysmal. But I do think there's been positive signs at the beginning of the season in every game. I even thought there was positive signs in the Liverpool game. Despite Liverpool being the better side and deservedly winning the game. But look, we're going to get into it a bit more as we go on. But I do believe he can turn it around. Do I think he'll turn it around? I've been in this situation for the last 10 years with 6 different managers and they've never turned it around. So he probably won't. And he probably will leave. But do I think he could turn it around given enough time? Yeah. But look, it's a difficult one. And I don't sit here like saying that anyone who wants Ten Hag gone is wrong. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And if you, like, there's enough evidence to suggest that you're right at the same time. It's just my belief that I think he is one of the best managers on the market personally.
But he's not on the market. I really wish he was on the market, to be perfectly honest with you. Well, let's go to let's go to your assertion that he has a style of play, right? Let's take it for the moment as read that he has a style of play. If it's not working, why is he persisting with it? If he doesn't have the players to fit the system, why is he persisting with it? Because you can't argue with the fact that
I do think he has the players to fit the system.
No, I agree with you, but he's going to say that he doesn't, right? Because he's saying, I
don't think he said.
I want to play that way, but the results aren't coming. The performances aren't coming. The only decent performance we've had this season, only decent performance was against Crystal Palace, and we drew the game 0-0 because we couldn't.
No, we were good against Brighton as well. We were good against Brighton as well, even though we lost.
Which we lost.
The Fulham game. Yeah, but we were a very good side to win the game.
We were
good against Fulham as well. But you have said. See, and I'll give you credit here, and this is why he isn't changed. You've said in the past he is stubborn, and he's always been. No, when he's up, but every Dutch coach is stubborn. Every single Dutch coach is stubborn. They think their way of football is the correct way to play football. Van Gaal was stubborn, Cruyff was stubborn, and Ten Hag is stubborn. Ten Hag's 3 favourite coaches are Van Gaal, Rinus Michels, and Johan Cruyff. He thinks that is the way to play football, and he is stubborn. And will it cost him his job? Possibly. There is some things he needs. I don't think like he would say he doesn't have the players available to play the system that he wants to play, because I do think the players are there available to play the system that he wants to play. But it seems like they're not carrying out the correct instructions to play that system. Why are we playing that lower line? I cannot get my head around why that line is not pushing up a tiny bit further, because everything else on the pitch isn't going in the right way because that line is so deep. Is that an instruction from him? If it is, it's the wrong instruction. Or are the players scared to actually push up that extra bit up the pitch? Against Liverpool, the line is literally one of the... Oh, sorry, not Liverpool, Spurs. That line is one of the main reasons we lost that game, because it was so deep. If that's an instruction from him, it's idiotic. If it's not, why aren't the players doing it? That's my way of viewing it.
So this is my question on that. Sorry, Erik.
No, you're fine.
You mentioned that was the thing that sort of piqued my interest when you started talking at the beginning. You say that we're a pressing team, and I do see players in our team press, but I don't see us press as a team, right? And a large,
I agree.
A large part of that may well be because of that low line that you're talking about. But the strangest thing for me about, let's take the Tottenham game specifically, regardless of how new they are to the team, both De Ligt and Mazraoui have played under Ten Hag before, right? Yeah, and Martinez. So he's got a load of defenders in that back line who have played under him before. So to them, surely the more natural thing to do is to push high.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%.
So do you think it's them making a decision to drop deep? I know this is sort of the question you asked, but I'm interested in specifically why you think it's happening, because it is his defense. Is it them making a conscious decision to drop deep, or is he saying, I'm worried about something, so drop a bit deeper?
Well, look, Ten Hag is one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for, meticulous managers on the planet. And I genuinely will say that, and I truly believe that he's detail orientated. When players do things wrong, this is from past players that have spoken about him, he'll sit them down individually and as a team and show them where they've gone wrong. I cannot for the life of me, and this is why I'm so confused as to why it keeps happening, I cannot for the life of me think they are watching games week in, week out, seeing how detrimental that low line is to the rest of the team. I'm not telling the team to push up. That's the one thing I can't get my head around. We've pushed the fullbacks high in the press before. It's worked against Aston Villa. They're the two times I've seen it properly work. High fullbacks against Aston Villa, away and at home, and it's worked. I don't think we ever done it again. Why? I cannot understand. But if it's him, fair enough. He has to take so much stick and criticism for it, but I can't, for the life of me, think he's continually telling that line not to push a bit higher.
Can I give you an answer? Can I give you an answer as to why?
Why?
Because there isn't a coach in the world that thinks that you set up against every single side the same way. So you don't set up against Brighton the same way that you set up against Aston Villa, right? It's just completely
absolutely,
different. You set up differently against Manchester City and you set up differently against Liverpool. It's a completely different game, and it's even more different than when you factor in whether you're playing home or whether you're playing away. It's a completely different system. It's a completely different setup. The principle should remain the same, but the setup is different. You play. You think about, I mean, one of the things that we talk about in the Attacking Football group chat a lot is American football. And the most successful coach in history is Bill Belichick. And the one thing that he did is he would look at the opponent and go, I'm going to take away your worst weapon and you could try and beat me with the rest. Whatever your best weapon is, I'm going to take that away from you and you beat me with anything else that you've got. If you beat me, fair play. If you don't, whatever. So Ten Hag is looking at, let's say, the weekend. He's looking at Spurs and he's going, how do they set up? How do I counter them? Where am I looking? And he's gotten it wrong.
No, he definitely got it wrong against Spurs, 100%.
But he's also getting it wrong in every other game as well. We're winning games through individual brilliance, not through absolutely playing people off the park. Even the games that we have won this season. Southampton rocked Old Trafford for the first 30 minutes of that game, and we didn't know what to do with them.
It wasn't at Old Trafford, so they didn't rock Old Trafford.
Yes, yeah.
Southampton were good for 20 minutes. United dominated the other 80. Sorry, 30. And then they missed the penalty, and United dominated the game from then on. They did. And they had a good opening. Yes. And Southampton had a good opening 30 minutes, and I agree, if they had scored, it could have been a tricky situation, but they didn't. And we went on to punish them. And we probably should have went 1-0 up earlier on in that game through Erik.
Yeah, look, I'm not arguing that.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
But he's not setting the side up to play against each individual opponent. He's setting the side up as, this is how we set up no matter who we're playing against. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And that's the problem. He has absolutely no plan outside of, and this is why I said he was stubborn, outside of, I'm going to set up my side this way and that's the end of it. There's nothing else going on outside of that.
See,
he has been tactical. Go ahead, Scott.
I just want to interject that I don't necessarily think that's entirely true because, and this wasn't me that saw this, it was either Neville or Carragher, but yeah, they pointed out that against Spurs, when the Spurs defenders had the ball, United players were just sitting back and it didn't seem like there was a trigger to press. And from watching United this season, that's kind of not how they've played. So it seems like he's made the decision to let Spurs defenders have the ball. And so I think he has changed. It's just why did he make that change? I think people are like, because that just seems like a stupid change to make. Surely there's going to be one defender in that Spurs back line who you can set the press. You know, they get the ball. This is when we trigger the press, and it just seems like he abandoned that style to say we're not even going to press their defenders.
Yeah. Well, they did do that once. They did trigger the press once, and we nearly conceded from it. That's where I'm talking about when the defensive line was so deep. But one thing I will say about Ten Hag is, and look, I agree with you in some senses, but a lot of managers have a style that they don't change. Like the Klopp's style was Klopp's style. I don't think he tweaked it much per the teams they played against.
But he did. He played very different. The philosophies were all the same, right? The way that he wanted to play football stayed the same. But the in-game management was different against whoever he was playing against. He'd set the side up differently. He would tell Trent to invert into midfield if he was playing against a Ipswich, for example. He'd never in a million years do that against Real Madrid because he knows the finishers would rip him apart.
I think he would. I've seen Klopp's sides play the same against Wolves as they would against Man City in the past, personally.
Yeah, I don't think
Klopp had a philosophy and a way of playing and a way of pressing, and I literally feel like I've seen Klopp play the same against Wolverhampton as they would against Manchester City. Scott may be able to give more insight on that, but
look, I'm not a tactical. I don't really notice them things, but it did always fit. Like, I don't know whether who's right or wrong, because I know LA's right. Like, we had the same principles in every game, but I wouldn't know too much about if there's slight changes and variation. But I would assume there is, because Pep Linders has gone on the coach's voice and stuff like that, and he's talked about individual games where they've tweaked something.
Yeah. But let me give you another example. Sir Alex Ferguson. He went into games against Barcelona and he went, right, I need to take Lionel Messi out of the game, so I should have put Ji-sung Park on Lionel Messi. He said it in an interview a few years ago. He said it's the worst mistake of his managerial career because he didn't make that in-game tweak. The rest of the team was set up exactly like they always play, but he didn't make an in-game tweak and he lost the game. He also talked about putting Pirlo on Park on Pirlo, and he just absolutely followed everywhere. And Pirlo said, "I thought I was going to wake up with him at the foot of my bed." He took that game and went, right, who's going to hurt me? I'm going to make a change to the way that I want the team to set up, but all of our philosophies remain the same. I'm still going to have Ronaldo and Tevez out wide with Rooney through the middle. I'm still going to have Carrick and Scholes playing from deep and feeding forwards. He did all of the same things, but individually, he told the players to do different things.
Well, Ten Hag's done that in the past, and players have gone on record saying that. Johnny Evans in the last month of the season said, I have to praise Ten Hag's tactical flexibility, because the things he changed are the reason we won games. So he can be tactically flexible, absolutely. And the system we play this season, the press we have this season is different than the press we had last season. It's a different press. We didn't always press in the 4-2-4 last season. We didn't always press in the 4-4-2 either. It was usually a 4-2-3-1. And we kept getting caught on the hybrid press over the left and right wingers. And that's why he's changed to a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2 to be more compact in midfield. That formation we played against City, when he tweaked it completely, is probably the reason he's changed the press. So we had the narrow 4-4-2 against City in the FA Cup final and we won the game. That was tactical brilliance. I don't know if we can, I think we're all in agreement that was tactical brilliance. I know he sat back and soaked up pressure, but probably the best United sides of all time have sat back and soaked up pressure at times and caught teams on the counter, But I do agree with you that he is a stubborn manager. And he does have his own principles, but inside his own principles is a possession-based system to try and suffocate opponents with a high line. And that's why I don't understand why the line is so deep. That's my point. He's always played a high line, apart from when he played at Utrecht. But at Ajax, it was a high line because his main influence is Rinus Michels, who played total football. And the total football brand is high line, possession-based football. Try and suffocate the opponent within their own half. That's my biggest gripe about the low line.